Welcome to Digimon.
Hello and welcome to Digimon and welcome to another BT17 deck profile. If you're liking this content, please make sure to like, subscribe and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. Now, I don't think I said this on Wednesday. We're not bringing out any matches for the next couple of weeks because I'm on holiday and BT17 has been delayed in the UK, much like every other single fucking set this year. Thanks, Asmodee. Anyways, going into today's list, we did Omnimon on Wednesday, so today I figured we would do Diaboromon, and we're actually going to look at two lists for Diaboromon. One, which is more, I think, the general way I'm going to end up playing it, which is this one here in front of you right now, and the other one is going to be exploring the new win condition that Diaboromon has access to in BT17. So let's get into the card by card. So first of all, the eggs. I still think the best egg for Diaboromon, despite the new egg in BT17, is the Dorimon. Reason being is, although both can access both in turn, kind of both turns, the on deletion of the new BT17 egg acts, is in, can activate both your turn and their turn. This one is an all turns effect. But I just think that the BT16 Dorimon is the better of the two because it promotes deleting your tokens rather than your stacks. So you're not getting rid of more useful things because you've got an on deletion underneath them. You're getting rid of your tokens, which are much more expendable. So I think the Dorimon is the better pick, and we can give blocker to all of our Diaboromon tokens through the use of EX6 Diaboromon. Next we'll go into the rookies. We've got two copies of the BT2 Keramon. It doesn't have any on plays or anything like that. It just has the inheritable of when you play a Digimon with the same name as this Digimon, you draw one. So if you're called Diaboromon, you play a token, you draw one. By the way, not once per turn. Really good. Next, we've got the BT5 Keramon. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add one Digimon card with the unidentified trait. It does say unidentified in its type, but that's an old typo. And one Arata Sonada among them to your hand, and place the rest at the bottom of your deck. So digs really deep. Can add 2 things from that. Really cool. Then we've got the new BT17 Keramon. This one has an opponent's turn effect of when your opponent plays a Digimon or digivolves into something, you get to warp this into an Infamon without paying the cost. Which is really cool because they have some really good effects. Then we also have the inheritable on there, which is if it's deleted, you get to play out a Diaboromon token. It's late and I'm talking very quickly. It's also getting kind of dark in here. I should probably put a light on, frankly. There you go. Hopefully you can see me better now. We've also got the EX6 Keramon as our final rookie at 4 copies. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card or option with Diaboromon in its text and a card or a tamer, as well as a card with the unidentified trait among them to your hand. So potentially adding 2 things again. Can fill your trash with unidentifieds, which is good for your tamers. Can search key options as well as also search tamers. Exceptionally good searcher. Also has the same inheritable as the BT17 Keramon, where if it's deleted, you get to play out a token. Then we go into our level 4s. So we've got 2 copies of the Kurisarimon from BT2. Much like its rookie form, it does not have an on-play or anything, but it does have an inheritable, which is not once per turn, of when you would play a Digimon with the same name as this Digimon, you gain 1 memory. Again, not once per turn. Fantastic. Next, we've got the BT5 Kurisarimon, at 3. So this has the simple when digivolving of play an errata if you don't have one, but it also has a very good inheritable of giving rush to all of your Digimon with Diaboromon in their name, or the same name as this Digimon rather, which is fantastic. So all of your tokens can get rush from this card. Fantastic. Next is the Kurisarimon from EX6. So this one is quite simple. This one, you could delete one of your Digimon with Diaboromon its name to reduce the cost of playing this card by 3, so you can play it out for 2. Then when you either on play or when digivolving, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 3. So nice simple removal. Doesn't seem that big, but remember, most kind of Floodgate rookies are cost of 3, and there are some Floodgate rookies like Gotsumon, Pomumon, that sort of thing, which can really screw over this deck if you're not careful. Then you've also got the same inheritable as the Keramon and the BT17 Keramon, which is to play out a token when it's deleted. Then we've got 2 copies of the promo Korosarimon, which again, no one plays, nothing there, but it does have a really good inheritable of giving decoy to all of your Digimon with the same name as this Digimon. So you're a Diaboromon, you give decoy to all of your tokens, they try and kill your Diaboromon, you kill one of your tokens instead. Great. Next, we've got the level 5s. So we've got Infamon from BT17. Very simple. You de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then one of their Digimon with 8 play cost or less can't attack. So even if you're de-digivolving a Mega, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to stun that Digimon, which is really cool. Then alternate effect is when you're playing a Digimon with Diaboromon in its name, you de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then the EX6 Infamon, also at 3 copies, on play when digivolving. By deleting one of your Digimon with Diaboromon in its name, you could digivolve into a Diaboromon without paying the cost. So pop one of your tokens, digivolve into a Diaboromon, play out more tokens. Bosh. And then when you play out more tokens, same inheritable as the BT17, de-digivolve 1. Awesome. Then we've got a bit of a flex spot in the level 5s, because by BT17 in Japan, they had access to Cyberdramon Ace, whereas us in the English-speaking part of the world do not. So, because we're not getting that till December, which is fantastic. So I decided to keep in Chimeramon. I could have very much kept in Mamemon, but I just figured that we don't really need it as much because we've got more kind of tamer searching and stuff like that. So we don't need it as much as we used to. I might look at putting it back in, but I do like the Chimeramon to kind of create somewhat of a super stack. Yeah, I think you could play either 2 of this or 2 of the Mamemon. You know, the Mamemon obviously searches and plays out a tamer, which can be really good for the strategy. So, but the Chimeramon itself is really good. You get to, you know, DNA Digivolve for one thing. Then whether you're kind of de-digivolving or not, you then get to DP minus up to the amount of colours that this Digimon has. So it's 1,000 to each of the colours. You'd only be black and white, unfortunately, in this deck. So it's only going to be 2,000. But you then also you gain DP if you've got 4 or more colours, which isn't really going to happen. But more importantly, you get to create more of a stack. So you get to get your more key level 4 inheritables under one Digimon rather than spread out across a couple. So can be really, really good. I think thinking about it, I might try the Mamemon instead, just so we've got something to play more tokens, and also because it's black, so for that kind of consistency. But I do like Chimeramon. I think I'll definitely try out both of them, and both Chimeramon and Mamemon, and see where I'm feeling. Next, going into the level 6s, we've got 3 copies of EX6 Diaboromon. Start of main, and when digivolving, you play out a token. Really, really good. Combination with the Errata Sonata, you play out 2 tokens. Really good. Then all turns, when your opponent would play a Digimon or I think it's just play a Digimon. Play a Digimon or digivolve a Digimon. It's one of the other 2. One of you guys could correct me if you want. Then you activate one of your when digivolving effects. So, more token. Really good. And then all turns effect, all of your other Digimon, with Diaboromon in their name, gain jamming and blocker. So that's your tokens. That's any other kind of fully fledged Diaboromon as well. Really, really good. And why that effect is really good is the exact reason why I'm playing this Diaboromon next, the promo Diaboromon at 1. So this one very simply gains security attack +1 for each of the other Diaboromon in play. That's it. That's literally all it is. But when you combine that with the EX6 one and you get jamming, if you've got loads of tokens out, you get security attack +1 on this and just go bosh. Bang, 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 bang. Which I think is a really fun tech. It's probably, of the level 6s, it's probably the one I would take out. But I do really like it. Next, we've got 3 copies of the Diaboromon Ace when digivolving and when attacking. And that's not a once per turn, so you can do both in the same turn. You play out a token, and that's it. And then you do an all turns thing of when a Digimon is played by an effect, you then get to delete an opponent's Digimon up to a play cost of 3, and then add 2 for each of your Diaboromon in play. And that's not each other, that's each Diaboromon, so it counts itself. So minimum, it's actually doing 5 worth of damage, and then we'll kind of stack up from there. So the more Diaboromon tokens you have, the more damage it will do. Next, you've got the level 7, so we've got the 1 copy of the Armageddon from BT17. Very simple, this one. So it has Rush, Blocker, and Reboot. It's got loads of keywords. But also what it does is you can recycle up to 13 unidentified cards from your trash to reduce the cost of this by 1 for each card that you send off, which is really good. Then on play, when digivolving, you delete up to 15 play cost worth of stuff on their board, which is really good. I think it's just Digimon. but 15 play cost of Digimon, really good. Also, it can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with its your turn effect. Then we've also got the older kind of BT5 Armageddon as well. Similar kind of thing. You can delete one of your Diaboromon to reduce the cost of this, so you can end up playing out for 3. Has Rush, so in the same kind of end as a BT17 one. But also really important for this meta is all turns. When Digivolving effects of your opponent's level 7 Digimon do not activate, which actually in this meta is really good. That stops Omnimon Ace, that stops Imperial Dramon Ace, that stops Crimson mode and Shine Greymon Burst mode, and just all of the really powerful level 7s that are in this set. So you know, really good stuff on that actually. Next, going into the tamers, we've got Izzy. So this is our memory tamer. On play, if you reveal 3 cards and then you gain 1 memory if all of them are black, which again is another reason why I'm possibly thinking maybe take out that Chimeramon and put Mamemon back in. We shall see. Then we've got the Errata, who is the much more important tamer here. So start of your turn, you gain 1 memory if you've got a unidentified in the trash. Hiccup again, which is really good. So that stacks on top of your memory tamer if that's out. Then your turn, when one of your Digimon would digivolve into Diaboromon, you can suspend this tamer to play a token. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. So really good, gives you more tokens, which is very good in combination with, well, basically all of the Diaboromon, you know, so really good. Next, we've got Beast Cyclone. Now, this is a tech card which is very useful with the EX6 Diaboromon, because it gives Security Attack +1 to all of your Digimon with Blocker. And then because EX6 gives Blocker to every one of your Diaboromon, then they gain Security Attack +1. Oh, look at that. They also gain Jamming. Really cool. So basically means that all of your tokens are suddenly Security Attack +1 jamming hits, which do a lot more damage each time. So a much kind of easier way of potentially OTKing. The Beast Cyclone hasn't really come up for me in testing, unfortunately, but I do still believe I think it's a really cool tech card for this build. Next, we've got 1 copy of Catastrophe Cannon, Digivolve 2. Then if you've got a Diaboromon in play, you then get to play out a token. Security, you just activate the effect of it. So really good removal as well as a potential token creator. The more tokens, the better. Then we've also got 3 copies of Black Memory Boost. I actually think Black Memory Boost is better in this build specifically than Defense Training, just because it digs a bit deeper. Also gains memory instead of Digivolving by an effect. And because we want to try and avoid stuff like that with the Imperial Dramon deck, you want to try and do that as minimal as possible. Obviously, we've got the Infamon that also digivolves by effect, so just bear that in mind. Right, let's take a look at the second build now. So this one is using the new win condition from Doomsday Clock, so the new kind of win con that kind of gives Digimon its first ever kind of Exodia type effect. So the ratios are all very different in this to kind of fit things in. I do personally say that the other one is probably the better build, but I think it's good to kind of, you know, explore this one for a bit of fun as well. So in terms of the cards in this one, I won't explore necessarily what they all do. I'll go into just what kind of cards that are different and what they do, but we will go over ratios. So Doremon still at the same ratio of 4 copies. With rookies, we've kind of cut down a bit so we can fit stuff in, having 4 BT5, 2 BT17, and 4 EX6. Then into the champions again, we've cut down a little bit. We've taken the decoy ones out. We've got 3 BT2, 3 BT5, 3 EX6. Then going into the level 5s, we've just got the Infamon now, 4 BT17, 3 EX6. Then going into the kind of level 6 Digimon, this is where things get a bit different, because we've now added in 2 copies of the BT17 Diaboromon. And what this guy does is, by placing one of your Doomsday Clocks underneath, you get to play out 2 tokens. So that's really cool. Potentially, if you've got a Errata out as well, you're playing 3 tokens, possibly more. You could play out a absolute shit ton of tokens if you've got enough Erratas out with that effect. Then what it also does is, opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon would attack, you can then redirect into one of your Diaboromon. So you can potentially just, you know, sod off one of your tokens as an unexpendable hit, so as long as they don't have piercing or something like that, could be okay. Then we've still got 3 copies of the EX6 Diaboromon, and we've got 2 copies of the Ace. Then the level 7s are still exactly the same, 1 copy of the Armageddon from BT17 and 1 of the BT5. Then we've got 1 copy of Izzy Azumi, 4 copies of Errata Sonada. Then we've got 2 copies of the Catastrophe Cannon, and then another difference here, we've got 4 copies of the Doomsday Clock. So security, it will just add to your hand. Main effect, what it does is you play a Diaboromon token, and then you get to place this underneath one of your unidentified Digimon. I believe it's unidentified Digimon, could be specifically Diaboromon, but you get to put it underneath, and then it has the start of turn effect. If you have 4 copies of Doomsday Clock in the battle area, you just win. You win the game. So that's where the kind of Exodia thing is. So you want to try and get all 4 of the Doomsday Clocks out so that you can win. It also does have inheritable effects, so when this Digimon would be deleted, you could just delete one of your tokens instead, and then end of the opponent. I think it's one of your tokens instead. Hang on, I need to double check this. Bear with. I did double check this, and now I've forgotten already. Uber professional. There you go. Look, I had it at the ready. So we've got. Add this card to the hand, play 1 Diaboromon token without paying the cost, then place this card as the bottom Digivolution card of all your Diaboromon days. I got that right, that's good. Start of your turn, if there are 4, place in the battle area, cool. Then the inheritable, when this Digimon would leave the battle area by an opponent's effect, by deleting one of your other Diaboromon, prevent it from leaving. I was right, cool, there we go. And then place 1 Doomsday Clock from this Digimon's Digivolution cards in the battle area at the end of the turn. So I was right, I was just doubting myself. Also, professionalism. Look, I had it ready to go in case I forgot again. Right, let's go back to the list. Then the last thing we've got is 4 copies of Defense Training, and the reason we've got Defense Training over the Black Memory Boost in the other build is just to make sure we can search out all of our black cards, including the Doomsday Clock. It can help us search out that. Obviously, the Keramon from EX6 can also search out the Doomsday Clock, but we want to try and search out that Doomsday Clock and cheat it out where we can, to kind of get that stuff going on. But those are the 2 different lists. Let me know which of these 2 lists you guys prefer. I think I'm still leaning towards this one just because it's kind of more classic Unga Bunga, whereas this one, I don't know if having an extra win con is really going to be that good because we've not got that many ways of kind of cycling into the Doomsday Clock. We don't really have like any, add this from deck loops or anything like that, like a Yu-Gi-Oh win condition would. But I think that the Doomsday Clock one could be fun, and I'll definitely try it out. But I think this one will be the one I prefer to go with. But if you did like this deck profile, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ding that notification bell. It really helps us out and makes us all feel giggly and warm inside. So would really appreciate it. Stay tuned next week because we've got 3 more deck profiles coming your way whilst Asmodee keep fucking about with our cards. But we will see you next time. Until then, keep it digital.